Okay, in this video, and then probably a couple more after this one, we're going to be working on creating a freehand oblique cabinet sketch. And this is we're going to use these 6 views shown here to create that sketch. Now, oblique cabinet drawings are typically used for ease when you have like a circle that you want to produce in a sketch, because the oblique cabinet view will make it where we can look at that circle straight on, and it'll actually look like a circle rather than an isometric view where the circle looks like an ellipse. Okay, so that's one advantage of the oblique cabinet view. Now, I say freehand, and freehand means that we won't be using any tools. We won't be using a straight edge. Won't be using uh, any kind of template or anything like that to recreate the sketch. We're not even going to measure, because measurements are not necessary for freehand sketches. So when I actually grade your drawing, I'll be looking for neatness, but I won't be measuring anything. But I will be looking at proportionality, because proportionality is important in a sketch. I'll also make sure that it should look like a freehand sketch. In other words, when I grade it, if I notice the use of a straight edge, that's not acceptable for this exercise. So we want to do a freehand sketch and utilize the techniques that I'll show you as we go along. Now, I will tell you that this is beyond my comfort level. I don't like freehand sketching, and especially putting it on video for everybody to see, because I'm really not very good at it. But we're gonna go through the motions and see, maybe we'll turn out a decent product. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, we're not worried about dimensions. In fact, in these 6 views given here, your front, bottom, right side, top, notice your front, top, and right side, those are your main orthographic views that you may be accustomed to seeing. The top view is given by rotating the front view toward you by 90 degrees. The right side view is given by rotating this edge toward you by 90 degrees. And similarly, you'll achieve the other views by rotating the front view that you start with. But we're not given any dimensions. But I mentioned earlier that we want to focus on proportionality. Okay, so I will use like the edge of a piece of paper to make a scale for myself, so we can achieve proportionality. Because if the proportions aren't correct, like the length of this line in relation to this line isn't as it's shown here, then the sketch will look incorrect. Also, one thing I want to notice as I go through and create this oblique cabinet projection, I actually want to double the size that's shown here. Okay, so as I just mentioned, I want to create a scale for myself. So I'm going to put the corner of the paper at the corner of the object, and I'm just going to let the smallest line on this front view be my my scale. So in other words, I'll put a mark right here, and then I'll move it down. I'll put another mark, I'll move it down, and I want to do about 10 or 11 or 12 of these, somewhere in that ballpark. And you'll see why I'm using that here in a minute. Again, the actual dimensions won't matter. It's the scale that I'm creating on my own is what will matter when we're reproducing our freehand sketch. So this will take just a second. And you want to get at least probably 11 or 12 of these, like I mentioned. I'm not sure if you're able to see the marks, but as long as you can see your own marks, that's what matters. Okay, so, and I'm just doing this on a regular sheet of paper. Now, also when you do your freehand sketch, make sure you're using like copy paper. I also don't want you to have any lines on the paper or grid paper or anything to help you along. I actually want to see your freehand sketch. Okay, so I'm starting off with a blank piece of paper, And like I said, I want to double um, the size of this. And just to show you, I just did this sketch earlier, and it's not that great, but that's what I did completely by hand, and that's what we're going to try to achieve again. Now, you can see when you look at this that this is different than an oblique view. Okay, the oblique drawings, uh, the angle between this line and this line is 120 degrees, or each of the lines are 30 degrees from the horizontal. In this case, the we're viewing the front of the object straight on, like this surface right here with the circle, and the ends of the base, we're viewing that straight on, which makes it easier to draw. Now we have some receding lines that come back at angles. Now these are not measured angles. These can be actually any angle. 30 and 45 are popular angles to use, but I didn't measure these. But the big thing with the receding lines is that they need to be parallel. Okay, so what we're going to start off doing is we're going to start off by drawing these square shapes right here in the front. And when I use my scale to measure, of course, my it's 1 unit from here to here. Okay, but remember, I'm trying to double everything, so 1 will be 2. Now the total length from left to right is about 1, 2, 3, 3.75. So that doubled is about 7.5. So let's keep those measurements in mind. So this will be 2 from here to here, and 2 from here to here, and the total width will be 7.5. So what I want to do is I'll start off with I'm going to make a mark, and really a good practice is centering your object on the paper. Just for this exercise, let's concentrate on the actual freehand sketching part, and just kind of keep in mind that you want to center it on the paper. So I'm going to start a little bit left of center and just start with a mark. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my paper scale. Now you want to try to get the edge of this paper approximately parallel with this one. You want to keep an eye on your angles. Okay, so this is 1, 2, so I put another mark there, and then remember I said the whole length was 7.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This would be about the right side of the object, and then back 2 from there. So 1, 2. Okay, and this measurement right here in the middle is whatever it should be, basically, at that point. Okay, now here's a trick with freehand sketching. Now I have 4 points I want to work with. When you start off drawing from left to right, or right to left, maybe if you're left-handed, you want to look at where you're going, not at the end of your pencil. So I want to start off here, but I'm actually looking to where I'm going to finish, and I want to try to pass through these points as I go along. Okay, you could also make short marks, like from here to here, doing the same thing. If you think you can do it in one long mark, that will be better, of course. So I'll go from here and I was off the mark just a little bit there, as you can see, but no big deal. I'm going to go back and use my scale to take some measurements. So so the height of that is 1 unit. Again, we're going to double that. Okay, so we're going to work on the base. So I'm going to go up 2 on my scale. And I'm going to do that on each side. Okay, keeping in mind I want to keep approximately 90-degree angles. Okay, and now I'm just going to draw between these 2 points. Again, just looking at that point as I go along. Okay, that's not too bad. Now I can go back and add those 2 points in the middle. Easy enough now. So I'll add one there and one there, and now I want to, oh no, I did that wrong. I need to measure that from the end. So it's 2 from here to here and 2 from the end to the back toward the middle. So